What impressed you most?
Man, like I said, like the humbleness, the down to earth. In Japan, if you're older, the younger guys have to speak to you in a certain tone with respect because they're older. So you have to respect your elders. And Shohei was always asking these young guys, like, "Hey, just please speak with me like I'm an equal. Like, don't speak to me like I'm your senpai. You're older than, or that I'm older than you." The way he went about his business, the way he worked. But you could go to him at any moment and ask him, and then any of the young guys could ask him something. And he could have easily been standoffish, and he didn't know really. He only knew two guys really on the team prior, and by the end of it, everybody was talking to him. Everybody was friendly with him, asking him questions, and I was always hitting with him, and I was trying to learn as much as I could from him. But man, I mean, just his willingness to tell me anything that he had, any advice that he had, and then clips in the dugout like that of him just joking around, having fun. Man, it was like I didn't know what to expect, and I came out of that and I was blown away, really blown away.
There was the one pregame clip where Shohei talked to the team about, "Hey, enough. We respect those guys over there, but let's put our stamp on this whole thing."
Yeah.
Is he a shit talker?
You know what? He kind of is. He kind of is, and that speech was really cool. And I think there was like an elephant. I mean, really before the game there was an elephant in the room, but guys are pretty loose. We're like, all right, we're playing against the freaking Monstars, and we're the Looney Tunes kind of type deal. You know what I mean? It was like this lineup is ridiculous. Everybody in our clubhouse knows everybody on their team, and they cannot say the same for us. There's guys on that team that don't know who I am on the team, and I play in the same league as them. So it was just like everybody was kind of loose because they were like, all right, whatever, it is what it is. Like, you were going to go out there, roll the balls out and see how it goes. And then when Shohei kind of gave that speech, it was just like, we've kind of been ignoring the fact that all these guys look up to these guys and they know who they are and everything. And so, and then coming from a guy that grew up in the same country that they all did and grew up in the same kind of environment that they did. And quite frankly, he's better than all of them. Just simply put, is that I think it gave a lot of the guys confidence. Like, man, we can go out there, and we can do it, and especially if Shohei's saying it. And but man, when we were playing against Korea and when we were doing all that stuff, he's a humble ass dude. But don't get it twisted. If he needs to talk a little smack, or if he needs to get a little competitive, like he's got a fire in him, man. That it don't matter what country he's in. He's got that confidence about him too, where it's like, what I mean, my shit don't stink, and I'm fucking better than you. So, and it's sick. It's really cool to see.
Vinny Pasquantino, the Royals, is a regular on this show, and he played against you with Team Italia in the quarterfinals. And he said it's unbelievable. You can't go 3 feet in Tokyo without seeing something Shohei related.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, he's the biggest thing we got going in baseball. What the heck is it like over there?
You can't go 3 feet in Tokyo without seeing something, or Japan without seeing something Shohei. He can't go 3 feet in public in Tokyo or Japan without a flood of people coming around him. I'm telling you, like, the way he handles himself is pretty unbelievable, and he's okay. I asked his interpreter, I asked Ibe, I was like, and he's just cool, just hanging out, man, like just being a normal person and not necessarily having to go out and do all the glitz and glamour or whatever it is, so which is nice. He's not going to get himself into any trouble or anything like that. But, I mean, shoot, he almost hit a ball off his face in the Tokyo Dome, in the back of the dome. And then in between every inning, you look up at the scoreboard and there's a Shoheiohtani commercial about something that they're advertising there in Japan. It's ridiculous. And you go to the downtown and it's like Times Square in New York, but in Tokyo, and it's his face here, his face here, him wearing a Grand Seiko watch here. I mean, it's seriously like he's making more money off the field than he is on the field, this year. And it's not surprising because you go over there and like Vinny said, his face is fucking everywhere out there. I always joke with him. I was like, yo, if they need like a Walmart version, half Japanese version of you over there, just let me know and I'll take some of that money. I'll take some of that money from you, dude. I was like, I won't cost as much. You know what I mean? Like, I won't take any of if you need a commercial where you need to speak Japanese, I won't take any of that from you. But let me get some of that cheese, So he was joking. But yeah, he's the biggest thing, man. And like, he's big over here. He's Michael Jordan times the Beatles in Tokyo. It's crazy.
By the way, you said he makes more money off the field. that will stop after this year. I don't know if the number is going to start with a 5 or 6, but it's going to be pretty large.
Yeah, I know, and I would never talk to Shohei really about it, but I would ask Ife. I'm like, we'd be sitting at dinner with each other, or whatever, and I'm just like, man, I'm so interested to see. Like, I hope he wins the Cy Young and the MVP, and I just want to see what that number is going to be and for how long and where he's going to go, because I'm like, seeing that's going to be, it's going to be record breaking, and it's going to be something that we've never seen before, because truly he's an ace and he's a middle of the lineup 4-hitter, power hitter. Like, what do you do with that? And so I'm excited, man, and I'm rooting for him, and I'm watching. I'm checking in on all the starts. I'm watching now that I'm not playing right now. I'm checking his at bats and stuff like that too. So I'm excited for him.
2 other things. One, on a personal note, our 17-year-old son, who's a baseball player, is going to Japan in August to go play. What is he in for at a high school level over there?
I'm sure he's going to see those crowds, and because Japan loves it. I don't know if you've ever seen any clips of like the Koshien tournament, which is like the national high school tournament over there. It's crazy. Like my mom used to say that she would skip school just to go to that Koshien tournament every year, because she's like, it's the biggest thing, So I'm so happy that he's going to be able to go over there, because he's never going to forget it. We got guys on this team that when they were in high school, they went over on Team USA or whatever it was to go play in Japan, and they talk about it, and they were like, man, it was awesome. Like, the guys were so great, they're so respectful. So the guys on the other team, they were fun to hang around, but also, he's going to be able to try food that he's never tried. He's going to be able to see things, ride bullet trains, experience a different world over there. And so I would just tell him to enjoy it, soak it all in, and maybe bring a camera or something, because it's going to be cool. It's going to be awesome, and he's not going to forget it. There's going to be some things that scare him off for sure, but there's also going to, I can't speak highly enough about it. It's pretty amazing over there. And it's clean, it's clean. But don't litter over there.
Oh,
either. Yeah.
No. He's just excited for the culture. He's like, the baseball is whatever the baseball is. I was like, dude, you play in front of like 20 people in high school. It's going to be like 20,000. Right. What do you mean the baseball? Like baseball ain't going to be the base.
Yeah, it ain't going to be like that in Japan. That's for sure. And that's what's cool, man. Like, you go over there and you're like, these people are passionate about the game. Like, they care about the game. Like, they, you know what I mean? Like, everything about it is baseball once you're stepping in the stadium. And it's so cool because, I don't know, man, like sometimes baseball gets a second fiddle, they're the second fiddle to football or whatever it is. But you go to Japan, man, it's special.
I'm excited for it. I'm so excited. I can't
wait. Are you going over there too?
I wish I could. It's a work thing. I'm so bummed. I've never been, and I want to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got to go at some point. Right. Whenever you can.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump from where I live in L.A. It's easy.
Exactly. Right. Just take a weekend off,
Right. To get there. It's like, you take Southwest, you stop somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, then refuel, and then we go. The other thing, I think by the end of the World Baseball Classic, most people, even if they were kind of iffy, were on board, even with the terrible injuries to Diaz and Altuve. But there were still some people who are like, it's a joke, it's just a moneymaker for MLB. What do you say to people who still might be skeptical about the World Baseball Classic after your experience?
I would just say, watch the highlights of it and watch the emotion of every player on every single team and see if they're engaged in it or not. And they asked some guys what means more, the World Baseball Classic or the World Series. And some of these Latin players were literally saying they'd rather win the World Baseball Classic than the World Series. And like in that championship game, everybody on that team is going to make $100 million or more in their career. Yet they're laying their bodies or whatever on the line in March just to represent their country and play for USA. And you see Shoheiohtani, and Trout gives a little nod in the last AB, and Shohei doesn't give him anything, and he's fired up. And after the game, he's crying because he's playing for Japan. He's playing for the country that groomed him, that he born and raised in, that he's proud to wear. And the energy and the emotion that goes into every single one of these games, and the nerves that go into these, and the fans. I mean, look at the fans too. Like these aren't normal games, and they're not even normal playoff games, right? Like we were in LA in 21, and we were in St. Louis in 22 for the wild card games, and those games are crazy, right? But you go to Tokyo for the freaking exhibition game in China, and that's what it feels like, you know, and you're playing against Korea, and it's two countries bashing together that have a little bit of, you know, a little rivalry there. And I mean, for the fans that are against it, like you said, like, do I wish that, you know, Edwin Diaz and Altuve never got hurt? Of course. You don't want any of that to happen. But, you know, stuff, you know, I hurt my thumb in the first game of the season. Like, stuff like that is going to happen. And, you know, you never wish injury. But, I mean, just look at the players and the fans that are at the games and see the emotion and ask if they care, because there's 162 in the regular season. But in that WBC, man, you're playing every game. It's an elimination game, and there's so much pride going into it that, I mean, I don't know. If a fan can't see that, then they're just stubborn and stuck in their ways. Because if you watch that WBC that went on, you know, this past March, it was nothing like I've ever experienced before. And I can't wait, because I know the next one's even going to get bigger because of that whole tournament and the way that it ended with Trout and Ohtani on the mound, 3-2 count, ninth inning. Like, we'll see. Because those baseball, I just think after the next World Baseball Classic, there's going to be no more discussion, in my opinion, because it's going to be so big. It's going to be so big, and every player is going to be locked in. And, you know, Trout already said he's in for next year, and Goldie came out and he was like, man, congratulations, this is unbelievable, you know. And it's just that's just what it is. And that's just an insight from a player that played in it. So those fans can say whatever they want, the media can say whatever they want, but from you ask any player that was in there, they're saying they're all in, and that's what it feels like, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Listen, you're going to be left out of the party if you don't want to play next time. I get
Absolutely.
it. America didn't have their top 13 or 14 starting pitchers available. Well, you're going to want to play next time.
And that's what was cool was after, you know, Edwin Diaz's injury, you know, and he's with my agent as well. And so when I talked to my agent, man, he was like, it couldn't have happened to a better guy. Like, he said Sugar Diaz is just an amazing dude, and he feels so terrible. And I feel bad for him too, you know, like, I don't even know the guy. I feel terrible. But when Mookie and Mike Trout came out after him, and those are two of the biggest stars in the game, and they're saying, you know, like, they are so happy that they're playing in this, and they'd so much rather be facing, you know, these arms that they're facing and playing in these environments as opposed to backfield at bats or whatever it is. You know, it's like, it's non-comparable. And if you get out of that without an injury, man, you like opening day for me, I wasn't too nervous, because I was like, man, I just played in the championship against USA and the semis against Mexico, and playing, you know, in front of 50,000 screaming Japanese for the first 5 games anyways. So, you know, it's just so valuable. And like you said, you're going to be left off the boat if you don't want in. And for these superstars in the game to be saying, like, I'm already committed to next time, and I can't wait to play, and I'm so glad I'm playing. And it's the most fun I've ever had playing. Those are the names in the game that are going to keep it growing. And I just can't wait for the next one. And I'm hoping I get the invite back to Japan, because I'm already penciling myself in. I can't wait.
I love to hear that.